Hello guys, Beastie here with another video, and today we got my boy Fergie on the other end.
Hey
guys. And first of all, just to go over my picks last week. I'm sorry for people who watched it. They were both wrong last week. Both the away teams won. But my first question for you: how do you feel about the call that put the Rams that stopped the Saints from getting in the Super Bowl late in the fourth quarter against the Rams?
Well, I mean, obviously, it cheated them. It probably would have, probably cost them the game. But honestly, I'm going to say that it's a bad call. It happens all the time in sports. There's really nothing you can do now. It's fast. I was rooting for the Rams, so it's good for me.
And to go on point, I was watching, for all the people that are really mad at the call out there, if you're watching it, it was a horrible call. I don't know how the call wasn't made. Don't get me wrong. But to defend the Rams here, the Rams earned that victory. The Rams, first of all, there was a call earlier in that drive where, I think it was the drive before, they didn't catch, I think it was a wrong passer or face mask on Jared Goff. It was something on Jared Goff.
Yeah, I think there was one of those.
And it was one on Jared Goff, and if that penalty was called, the Rams would have scored a touchdown. It was just less obvious. And another thing to defend the Rams that they won, Saints got the ball first in overtime, and they blew it. They got the ball first, so it's not like they didn't get a shot. They got the ball first, and they still didn't execute to win that game. So, it was a rough call, but the Rams earned that win.
Yeah, I've always thought that, one call doesn't change the game. You either earn it or you don't. A call is definitely effective, but, the Rams still won it in overtime. So, you can't blame them.
So overall with that, Rams earned it. I'm so glad they're in the Super Bowl, but I wanted the Saints to win, to be honest with you. I wanted to see Drew Brees in there one last time. He still has a shot to get there next year because he's not retiring this year. And he still has the team to get there next year. Just knowing that he was so close, I would like to see him get one more ring. I would like to see him get one more ring before he retires out of the league. As for that game, though, how do you feel about the Patriots and Chiefs game that was played right after?
Oof. The Chiefs did not show up in the beginning, and that's what cost them.
I think they did show up in the beginning. I think the Patriots game plan for the beginning. I don't think they adjusted in the beginning. I think the Patriots just showed up and had their adjustments perfect in the beginning of that game. I don't think it was really necessarily the Chiefs were not ready. It was the fact.
The score was 10-0 though, Barry. Against a team like the Patriots, you can't go down on them quick, especially by more than one possession.
I understand, but I think I get what you're saying, and what you're saying is correct. You can't really do that against the Patriots. But like I said, they didn't go down that early because they didn't come out to play. They were down that bad because Bill Belichick is a genius, and he game planned exactly what the Chiefs did. So his opening script was better than Andy Reid's script. Yeah. Bill Belichick's script, because both teams start off with offensive and defensive scripts, pretty much. Bill Belichick's script was better than Andy Reid's script to start the game.
Well, I just think the Chiefs didn't show up to play. They had a rough start. Patriots got on them early. Then Chiefs were starting to come back. Then halftime. And then I think after halftime, that's when Bill Belichick made the correct and, the best changes
Andy
in order to win the game.
Oh, never mind. You're probably still going with it. But, and this happened This happened when they played the first time, too. It was the Chiefs were down 24-9 at one point. I think it was at halftime. It was 24-9 Patriots. And the Chiefs, they pulled off a miracle, and it was 40-40. And Tom Brady led the Patriots down the field to kick a game-winning field goal. So the same thing pretty much happened here, and the Chiefs being so dynamic so quickly hurt them at the end of that game because they scored too quick and left too much time on the clock for Tom Brady.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess, but also they need to score, more points quickly. So I'd rather have it where I score the points needed than wait too long and miss my chance. So I don't necessarily blame them with that. But definitely going into next year, I think they should, keep their offense dynamic. I think they need another running back, obviously. After Kareem Hunt's incident, made them a little more one-dimensional. They still kept the running game going, but it wasn't as strong. It wasn't as lethal, which then ultimately, only made them a passing team. So they get a running back. I think that'll definitely help.
So, but now that we've talked about the championship games, we know who's going to the Super Bowl. It's Patriots and Rams in Atlanta on February 3rd. How hyped are you for the game?
Sad that Chiefs didn't make it. Happy the Rams did. I think it's going to be a good game. I am great offensive teams, so.
I am crazy hyped. You have the greatest coach of all time, arguably. And I think we're looking on the other sideline. It's going to be probably the next best coach of all time, and he might be able to be a better coach than Belichick at the end of his career. So, I am excited. It is the greatest coach. It's got the old-fashioned coach and the young-fashioned coach, and I am ready for them to go head-to-head and game plan for each other. It's going to be such a fun game to watch.
Well, not only young versus old in coaches, but also in quarterbacks.
Yeah,
you got Jared Goff, third year, Tom Brady, 20th.
Yeah, just the thing is I thought last week the Chiefs versus Patriots this past championship was more the quarterback because I think it's not even I think. It is like you watch game film, but Patrick Mahomes is better than Jared Goff. You look at statistically, you can watch the games, Patrick Mahomes is better than Jared Goff. I thought that game was more last week. That's why I didn't mention it, but you are right. Tom Brady's old and he's there. Jared Goff's finally in the spotlight. And Todd Gurley, who knows if he's even going to get many snaps in this game. He had a few mistakes early against the Saints, and he did not play another snap. And I honestly think they might lead towards C.J. Anderson again this week. So, us talking about this, us getting excited, who do you got? Do you got the Patriots or the Rams?
I got the Rams, and the reason why is because, I like them a lot. I like what Sean McVay is doing. But also, it was a close game. Even if, you take away the penalties and all that weren't, or, were wrongfully called in the Saints-Rams game, I still think that, the Rams were in there. And I think that the Saints are a much better team than the Patriots. So, I think since the Rams held it out so long with the Saints and then came up with that victory, that's going to help them, and it's going to prove it. They're going to prove it in the Super Bowl while they're there and win.
No. The thing is I'm going to disagree with you a little bit, man. The first thing I'm going to disagree with you is when you said you think the Saints are better than the Patriots. I'm going to disagree with that right off the bat. I think the Patriots are a way better squad. I'm not even saying it's close. I think they are a mile better than the Saints. And the reason I'm saying that is because, yes, the Saints did better in the regular season, and that's not even a question. The Saints played pretty much perfect in the regular season. But the Patriots they're too dominant in the postseason. You look at the I don't know why I'm forgetting what I was saying, but the Patriots are too good. And if you look how dominant the Chargers were. A whole bunch of people. If you go on almost any single football website and watch all those football videos, most people predicted Chargers to go win the Super Bowl this season. Patriots made them look like a fool last weekend and divisional weekend. made them look like they were horrible and they shouldn't even have been there. And they pretty much did the same thing for the Chiefs for the first two quarters of this game. The Patriots are such a dominant team. Julian Edelman and Tom Brady are clutch when they need to. And then you got James White. And Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, Rob Gronkowski, who come out clutch in all these clutch moments. So I think the Patriots are a better team. And just because of that, I'm not picking against the Patriots again, because for the people who've been watching my videos, I predicted the Chiefs to win, I predicted the Chargers to win, and the Patriots won both times, and they won pretty convincingly. Let me read you some things here. The Patriots had time of possession 43-20. First downs, they had double the Chiefs' amount of first downs. They had 524 total yards, 290 total yards for the Chiefs, 348 to 249, 176 to 41. Almost all the stats went all towards the Patriots. I think they're going to come out and win this game. That's what I think. But now you have the Rams, so our MVPs are obviously going to be different here. Who do you think is going to win Super Bowl MVP? If you're predicting Rams, you have to have a Rams player. Patriots can't win MVP if they lose the game.
Obviously, Barry. I know how the Super Bowl and NFL works. Don't worry. I think Aaron Donald.
That would be fun, and I think he's a dark horse to win it. And I think there's a lot of people on the Rams that can win it if the Rams win the Super Bowl. But I picked the Patriots, and there's no other better. I'm not picking anyone else besides Tom Brady to win MVP. I don't see anyone else maybe besides Sony Michel or James White to play a big enough factor to win MVP over Tom Brady. So, because I have the Patriots win, I'm going to pick Tom Brady to win MVP. Now, I got last two questions, and it's now dealing with the normal MVP, just of the regular season. Who do you think should be the MVP of the season?
Probably Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he had an incredible year. First year being a starter, second year in the NFL, and he just put it all out on the line. And I mean, look at the production he did.
I agree with what he did, and I think he's incredible. But I don't think he should be the MVP. And the reason I'm kind of stopping what I'm saying, so I'm looking something up on my computer, which is why I don't think he should be MVP, if he should ever be MVP. And I can't really, right here I have it. I have it, and this is why he shouldn't be MVP, because last year Alex Smith put up 4,042 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Now, yes, Patrick Mahomes blew that out of the water. He has 50 touchdowns, just over 5,000 yards, and 12 interceptions. It's just, if you put quarterbacks in the Chiefs system, they're going to be efficient, and they're going to bring the Chiefs really far. They're going to bring the Chiefs to the playoffs. Putting an average quarterback in that system with Andy Reid and the Chiefs' offensive weapons. I personally think MVP should be Andrew Luck. I think he's going to win Comeback Player of the Year. I think it should be Andrew Luck, because I think he is the player he's the player which actually defines MVP. MVP, obviously, everyone knows, stands for Most Valuable Player. And like I said, if you take Patrick Mahomes out and you kept Alex Smith, you're probably still having a dominant record. You're probably still going to be in the playoffs. He might even be able to bring to a Super Bowl. Maybe not. I don't think he would have this year, but I think he could still, if they stuck with him instead of Patrick Mahomes, I think Alex Smith could have brought them to a Super Bowl. And Drew Brees is the other big one that I think that people are going to be talking about. Drew Brees, first of all, they're going to need a successor soon, and I think they might have one in Taysom Hill. I don't know if they're going to ever need to go for a different quarterback. Taysom Hill's showing really effective, but I think if they grabbed a quarterback out of the draft or next year's draft, one of these dominant rookie quarterbacks coming out of college, I think they could be successful with the Saints with all this what the Saints have. Saints have a solid defense, a great wide receiver, a solid run game. So Drew Brees but Andrew Luck, we saw what the Colts were without Andrew Luck. They were getting like 4 wins a season. Andrew Luck comes back. He has a rough start, probably because he's still a little banged up. And then he comes back and brings them to the playoffs. So I think Andrew Luck should win it. I think he's going to win Comeback Player of the Year. But now going off that, that's who I think should win it. Who do you think will win it? I think Patrick Mahomes is honestly going to win it just because of the stats he put up. I think he put up 5,000 yards. He got 50 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I mean, I think he's going to win MVP. It's just, I don't think he should win MVP.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you'll have people that are just looking at the stats, and then you'll have, voters who, are looking at, that aspect that you brought, Barry. How, like, if you eliminate that person from the team, how well will that team go?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's going to be close. I mean, I don't think Andrew Luck will win it, but,
no, I don't think he will.
I think he'll be in the running.
I think he should win. I don't think he's going to win it either. I don't think people are going to look in that big of a spectrum because of how slow the start it was, and I don't think the Colts were really talked about crazy much to the very end of the season when they needed to beat the Titans to get in the playoffs. I think is when most people started talking about them. The average person who would be voting for this was really starting to talk about the Colts. So that's why I don't think Andrew Luck's going to win it. All right, and I didn't have this question written down, but I just thought of it, and I know it's because you're a Steelers fan. That is very unlikely, and Antonio Brown's going to be with the Steelers next season. And I don't know if Le'Veon Bell is going to be with the Steelers next season. So where would you like to see those two players play, obviously besides the Steelers, because it's an unlikely situation?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want them to go to a place that, for Le'Veon Bell, you want a team that has a great line, and, that will, want him and will use him off. I mean, great players, obviously I don't want to see them leave, but because of, contract complications and, sometimes you just gotta let people go, so.
I would personally like to. I'll tell you first what I want to see and see if you can somewhat agree. I would love to see Le'Veon Bell go to the Colts. I think he is a piece that would bring them to the next step. Marlon Mack's really good, don't get me wrong, but if you put Le'Veon Bell back there, he is a whole other dynamic player that can bring them to the next level out of the receiving game and the running game, which would be better than Marlon Mack. So I'd like to see him go to the Colts and bring them to the next step for a short-term contract.
Yeah, but I think that Marlon Mack is just getting used to it. I think that he's going to develop into, such a great runner, such a great threat, that yes, he has that capability of making any team great, but because of how Marlon Mack, kind of just stepped into the plate and handled it, I think that, it would kind of be a waste.
Yeah.
For him to go there.
So
personally,
what's your suggestion?
I think that Le'Veon Bell should go to a team like the Buccaneers. Yeah, probably the Buccaneers, because they've never had really a successful running back, and that's really been their downfall. In the beginning of the year when they were killing it, they were being, Fitzmagic and all that. It was all because of the passing game. They had no run game whatsoever. But, obviously, it ended. Their streak ended. They fell.
Yeah, obviously, one of the worst records. I can check the record right here just so the people could see. Yeah, the Buccaneers ended up 5-11 this season.
Yeah, and they went like 3-0, 4-0, but in the beginning. So I think that if Le'Veon Bell goes there, he'll definitely be kind of like, hey, if he goes like for draft piece. I mean, like, hey, this guy went there and he's, a huge deal in the NFL. Like, why shouldn't I go there, And he'll just bring that aspect of, like, this team can be great if we, make it great. So, I think that's my top place for Le'Veon Bell.
And I'll tell you my Antonio Brown.
And then
I would love to see. I mean, I wouldn't even like it. I would love to see Antonio Brown in a New York Jets jersey.
I'll think about that. I'll think about how that could be.
I would love to see Antonio Brown in a Jets jersey next season. I think that would be such a great place. I think it would really help develop Sam Darnold. As long as Antonio Brown might not like it. As long as Sam Darnold, though, doesn't show all, like, just look at Antonio Brown every play. I think Antonio Brown can really help Sam Darnold develop, because if he needs to, he has a receiver that he can count on and probably that he respects in the league, and then he can learn. He could just learn how to throw the ball in tighter windows in practice. And when he makes a couple small mistakes, Antonio Brown can fix those mistakes in the same play.
And I mean, that is kind of the place that Antonio Brown, because I feel like they don't run the ball a lot successfully, anyways, which makes them have to rely more on the passing game, and that's basically what Antonio Brown wants. So I think the Jets would be a good place for him. I like that.
And the Jets defense is underrated. It's just because their defense is out there so often that when they start doing bad, Jets have a really good defense.
They get grinded all game long.
So I think the Jets have a phenomenal defense. If they can get a playmaker and help them get drives down the field going, and their defense is on the field a little bit less, I think that the defense can become at least a top half unit in this league. Oh, damn it! I keep thinking of new questions, but second after second. All right, last one. Where do you want Nick Foles to go to? Because he's the newest, biggest topic. What's happening with Nick Foles? Where would you like to see Nick Foles play? What team do you think needs him?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many great places that he could go and be that solid player. I mean, I think that he needs a place where he's not the sole team. He has the defense that he can rely on. He has, offensive playmakers, like one or two, at least, just so that, the weight doesn't fall on him. I mean, because we've seen, what happens when the weight falls on him. He does great in the postseason, but he hasn't had such great success in the regular season, so I don't know.
I would personally like to see him. I know this team already has a quarterback that got injured this year. I would personally like to see him go to the 49ers.
I'll think about that.
He might not like it because he would be a backup there. But Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, has gotten hurt 2 times now. He got hurt when he was on the Patriots in that 4-game series. That's why they had to go on their third string in that 4-game series with the Deflategate. He got hurt again this year for the 49ers. And Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't really doing, I think, what he was intended to do there. So I'd like to see Nick Foles go to the 49ers. And for your point, he has a star weapon there in George Kittle, which is one of the better tight ends in the league.
I don't know. I think that because of all the money that they put into Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers wouldn't automatically look at him like a starter. I mean, obviously he's played great, phenomenal, for the Eagles. Mm-hmm. But I think just because of the money that they've invested in Garoppolo, they wouldn't necessarily look at Foles first as a starter.
Another 2 solid places for him, because he wants to be a starter now if he goes to a new team. He can go to the Redskins. Who knows if Alex Smith will be back with his horrid injury that he had this season. Or even if he comes back, another team would be the Jacksonville Jaguars that could really use a quarterback right now.
Definitely. I'll definitely think about the Jaguars. Redskins, though, didn't cross my mind, though. That was a good pick.
I think there's a lot of other teams that need him. A lot of other teams are trying to find their ways already in new quarterbacks. The only other team I could really think of is the Giants, but the Giants, I think, are going to want a young QB to start learning.
Oh, definitely. They're probably getting a QB in this draft. And if not this draft, then definitely the next.
I've already looked at a lot of mock drafts, and it has said,
It's either they get Dwayne
most of them has
Haskins.
been Dwayne Haskins, and then there's been like one or two I've seen say Kyler Murray, but well, it's looking like Dwayne Haskins from mock drafts, but who knows?
Yeah. It's either they take Dwayne Haskins through the mock drafts that I've looked at, Dwayne Haskins, or they've gone for offensive linemen. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think they're going to grab Dwayne Haskins, but guys, I think we're hitting around, it's got to be like around 20 minutes now. That's a long video. So, see you guys next time. Hopefully you guys liked the Barry and Fergie Show Part 2 going into the Super Bowl. Well, actually Pro Bowl, but still talking about the Super Bowl. Either way, I'd like the fans to say thank you to Fergie for being a wonderful guest on the channel. And
thanks, guys. See ya.
Peace out, y'all.